What if the reason you don't feel happy isn't because you don't have enough, but because your mind has been trained to look in the wrong direction? How much of your life have you spent waiting? Waiting for more money, waiting for recognition, waiting for love, waiting to finally feel settled, as if joy were a reward handed to you at the end of a long negotiation with the world. But what if happiness does not live in the future at all? In Buddhist wisdom, suffering does not come from having too little. It comes from overlooking what is already here, from measuring life against what is missing instead of resting in what is present. This is not a message about settling. It is not about giving up growth or ambition. It is about reclaiming your attention. Because where your attention goes, your emotional life follows. Here are 6 lessons to help you focus on what you have, so happiness can quietly return. Listen slowly. Let each lesson meet you where you are, and notice what is already enough. Lesson 1. Stop postponing your joy. Most people live in a waiting room. They may not call it that. They call it working towards something. They call it being responsible. They call it not settling. But underneath it all is a quiet belief. I'll be happy when I get that job, when I lose that weight, when I move, when I meet someone. So life becomes a hallway, and happiness becomes a door that is always just ahead. Buddhist wisdom gently asks, what if the door is not ahead? What if it is here? The truth is simple but uncomfortable. The only time you can ever feel happiness is now, not tomorrow, not after the achievement, not when everything aligns perfectly. Now. Yet the mind resists this. It whispers, but things aren't complete yet. Something is missing. And so you postpone your joy again. You tell yourself, I'll relax later. I'll appreciate life later. I'll enjoy myself once I've earned it. But consider this. When you reach the next milestone, will the mind finally rest? Or will it create another condition? This is how the waiting room becomes a lifetime. In Buddhism, attachment to future outcomes is one of the roots of suffering. Not because goals are wrong, but because we confuse achievement with permission to feel okay. You do not need permission to feel content for a moment. You do not need a perfect bank account to enjoy a quiet morning. You do not need complete certainty to appreciate the air in your lungs. Try something small today. Pause. Before your mind jumps to what is unfinished, ask yourself, what is already here that I can allow myself to enjoy? Maybe it is the warmth of sunlight through a window. Maybe it is the simple comfort of sitting down. Maybe it is the sound of your own breath. Joy does not require everything to be solved. It only requires your attention. This does not mean you stop striving. It means you stop withholding happiness as leverage against your own life. Notice how often you say, once this is done, then I'll... Gently interrupt that sentence. Say instead, even now I can breathe deeply. Even now I can feel gratitude. Even now I can soften. Happiness is not something you schedule after success. It is something you allow in the middle of imperfection. And here is something powerful. When you stop postponing joy, you actually become calmer, clearer, and more capable. Your actions become grounded rather than desperate. You stop chasing life. You begin living it. There will always be something you do not have. If you make happiness conditional on having everything, you will never arrive. But if you learn to feel contentment in this very moment, even briefly, you step out of the waiting room and you discover something surprising. You were not waiting for life. Life was waiting for you to notice it. Lesson 2. Stop shooting the second arrow. Life will hurt sometimes. This is not pessimism. It is reality. Plans fall through. People disappoint you. Opportunities pass. You see someone else living the life you wanted. That first sting, that moment of disappointment, is natural. In Buddhist teaching, it is called the first arrow. You cannot always avoid it. But then something else happens. The mind begins its commentary. Why don't I have that? This always happens to me. I'm behind. It's not fair. I should be further by now. This is the second arrow. And unlike the first, this one is optional. The Buddha taught that suffering often doubles because we resist what is already painful. We replay it. We compare. We complain internally. We build a story around it. The first arrow is the event. The second arrow is the narrative. Imagine seeing someone succeed in a way you hoped to. The first arrow might be a quick tightening in your chest, a flicker of sadness. That is human. But then the mind says, "Why not me? I must not be good enough." Now the pain grows, it lingers, it becomes identity. Or imagine realizing you cannot afford something you want. The first arrow is disappointment. The second arrow is, "I never have enough. I'll always be stuck." Do you see the difference? One is a moment, the other is a mental construction. When you focus on what you do not have, you often keep shooting second arrows at yourself. You compare your current reality to an imagined version. You criticize yourself for not being somewhere else. You argue with what already is. Instead, try this. When something stings, pause. Feel it directly, not the story, just the sensation. Maybe it is heaviness. Maybe it is tightness. Maybe it is heat in your chest. Let it be there. Say silently, "This is disappointment," or "This is sadness." Not, "This means I'm failing." Not, "This means I'm lacking." Just, "This is a feeling." Feelings move when you do not trap them with thought. The second arrow is often shot in the form of comparison. You look at someone else's highlight and measure it against your behind the scenes. But their success does not remove your value. Their gain is not your loss. When you stop shooting the second arrow, something quiet happens. The pain becomes smaller, shorter, less personal, and space opens up. In that space you can remember what is still here. Even if something didn't go your way, you are still breathing. You still have abilities. You still have relationships. You still have today. This practice does not deny difficulty. It prevents multiplication of suffering. The first arrow may visit, but you do not need to invite the second. When you let the first sting pass without building a story around it, you free your attention. And that attention can return to what you have, to what is working, to what remains intact. This is emotional resilience, not through force, but through clarity. You cannot always control what life brings, but you can choose not to wound yourself twice, and that choice changes everything. Lesson 3. Stop watering the weeds. Garden your gratitude. Your mind is like a garden. It does not stay empty for long. Whatever you water grows. Most people do not realize what they are watering all day. You wake up and the first thoughts are about what is missing, what you haven't achieved, what someone else has, what you should have done differently. By noon, you have replayed the same worries several times. By evening, you feel heavy. Not because life is unbearable, but because the weeds have been carefully tended. In Buddhist wisdom, attention is creative. Where you place it, you strengthen neural pathways. You carve emotional habits. If you spend hours thinking about what you lack, your brain becomes skilled at detecting absence. It will scan every room for what is not there. It will measure every success against what is incomplete. It will filter out abundance as if it were background noise. This is not because you are ungrateful. It is because the mind has been trained to seek deficiency as a form of protection. It believes that if it can identify what is missing, it can prevent danger. But in modern life, this survival instinct often turns into chronic dissatisfaction. Imagine standing in a garden filled with flowers and weeds. If you kneel only beside the weeds, examining them, discussing them, worrying about them, you should not be surprised when they dominate the space. Gratitude is not denial of weeds. It is the conscious decision to water the flowers. This is a daily practice, not forced positivity, not pretending everything is perfect, simply noticing what is already working. Ask yourself gently, what did not go wrong today? What is quietly supporting me? What is stable, even if it feels ordinary? Perhaps your body carried you through the day. Perhaps you had a conversation that felt sincere. Perhaps you had access to food, water, shelter. The mind may protest, but that's basic. That's normal. Yes, and that is exactly why it is overlooked. Buddhism teaches that suffering arises not only from pain, but from forgetting how much is already sufficient. Try a small ritual. At the end of the day, name 3 things that went well. They do not need to be dramatic. In fact, it is better if they are simple. The warmth of your shower, the taste of your coffee, a moment of quiet. As you name them, pause. Feel them. Let them register. You are not trying to convince yourself of anything. You are retraining attention. Over time, something subtle shifts. You begin noticing beauty without trying. You feel less urgency to chase validation. You become more grounded in what exists rather than what is absent. This does not mean you stop growing. It means growth no longer feels fueled by lack. There is a difference between wanting something and believing you are incomplete without it. When you garden your gratitude, you build emotional wealth. You create a baseline of enoughness. And from that baseline, ambition becomes healthier. Relationships become softer. Comparisons lose intensity. You begin to understand that focusing on what you have is not complacency. It is wisdom. The weeds may still appear. Disappointment may still visit, but they are no longer the only plants receiving water. You decide where the nourishment goes, and in time, the garden changes. Lesson 4. Finding wealth in others' success. Envy is quiet but corrosive. It rarely announces itself loudly. It slips in through comparison. You see someone thriving, someone celebrated, someone living the life you imagined for yourself, and something inside tightens. In Buddhist teaching, envy is described as drinking poison and waiting for the other person to suffer. But the person who suffers is you. When you fixate on what others have that you do not, your world shrinks. Their joy becomes a reminder of your perceived lack. Their success feels like subtraction. Yet this perception is an illusion. Another person's happiness does not reduce the amount available to you. joy is not a limited resource. There is a practice in Buddhism called mudita, sympathetic joy. It is the deliberate cultivation of happiness for others, not forced, not fake, but practiced. At first, this may feel difficult, especially if the success touches something tender in you. So begin gently. Instead of thinking, "Why not me?" try asking, "Can I allow their happiness to exist without making it about my worth?" You do not need to erase your desire, you simply loosen the comparison. Notice what happens when you sincerely wish someone well. There is lightness, there is expansion. For a moment, you participate in their joy, and in doing so, you double the joy available to you. This is emotional intelligence. This is spiritual maturity. When you celebrate others, you train your mind to see abundance rather than scarcity. You move from competition to connection, and something unexpected happens. Your nervous system relaxes. You no longer feel like life is a scoreboard. You stop measuring yourself against timelines. You begin to trust that your path unfolds in its own way. Think about the people you admire. If they succeed, does it truly harm you? Or does it expand what feels possible? When someone else reaches a milestone, it can become proof that growth exists. That transformation is real. That opportunity is alive. Their success can be inspiration rather than threat. This does not mean ignoring ambition. It means releasing hostility. You can want more for yourself while still wishing others well. The mind that rejoices in others' good fortune becomes spacious. It stops obsessing over deficits. It recognizes that happiness is not a competition. It is a practice. And here is something powerful. When you genuinely celebrate others, people feel it. Trust grows, connection deepens, envy isolates, appreciation connects. If you want to feel richer in your own life, learn to see wealth in others' victories. Say silently, "May they enjoy their success, may their happiness continue, and may I trust my own timing." The world becomes warmer when you stop seeing it as a rival. You are not behind, you are not excluded, you are simply on your own unfolding path, and there is room here for everyone. Lesson 5. Count your invisible wealth. There is a kind of wealth you rarely measure. It does not appear in your bank account. It is not displayed on social media. No one congratulates you for having it. And yet, without it, nothing else would matter. This is your invisible wealth. In Buddhist wisdom, much of suffering comes from selective blindness. The mind fixates on what is missing while ignoring the countless conditions already supporting your life. You see the one thing you lack and overlook the 1,000 things quietly holding you up. Right now, pause for a moment. You are breathing. You did not manufacture this breath. You did not negotiate for it. It arrives on its own. Behind that simple inhale is an entire ecosystem. Trees converting sunlight into oxygen, oceans regulating climate, a planet positioned perfectly in space. And here you are, receiving the result of all of it without effort. This is invisible wealth. Consider the next ordinary thing in your day. A cup of coffee, a piece of fruit, clean water from a tap. It appears simple, but behind it are farmers, rain, soil, transportation systems, engineers, generations of knowledge, the stability of communities. Thousands of conditions converged so that this small comfort could reach your hands. You call it normal, but it is a miracle of coordination. Buddhism teaches interdependence, the understanding that nothing exists alone. Everything you have is the result of countless visible and invisible causes. The clothes on your body, the language you speak, the technology that allows you to listen to this. You did not create these alone. When you feel like you don't have enough, it is often because you are counting only visible achievements, money, status, possessions. But what about your ability to see, your ability to hear, your ability to think, to reflect, to love? Imagine losing one of these for a moment. Suddenly, what felt ordinary becomes precious. Yet, while you have them, the mind treats them as background. This is how dissatisfaction grows, not from true poverty, but from unrecognized abundance. Try a small reflection. If someone offered you a large sum of money in exchange for your eyesight, would you accept? If someone offered you wealth in exchange for your closest relationship, would you agree? Probably not. Then recognize this: you are already in possession of treasures you would never sell. That is wealth. Even your challenges carry hidden assets. The mistakes you have made have given you insight. The heartbreaks have deepened your empathy. The struggles have strengthened your resilience. These are not visible on a resume, but they shape who you are. There is also the wealth of time. You are alive in this moment. Your heart is beating. Your mind is capable of reflection. Not everyone has this chance today. This is not meant to create guilt. It is meant to create awareness. When you begin counting invisible wealth, something softens. You feel less desperate, less frantic, less behind. Because you realize that the foundation of your life is already strong in ways you rarely acknowledge. You may not have everything you desire, but you have enough to experience joy, connection, growth. You have the capacity to notice beauty. You have the ability to choose kindness. You have the space to begin again. Invisible wealth does not eliminate ambition. It balances it. It reminds you that you are not starting from zero. You are standing on layers of support. The sunlight warming your skin, the gravity holding you steady, the memory of someone who once cared for you, the knowledge you've gathered over years. None of this is flashy, but all of it is extraordinary. When you feel lack creeping in, ask yourself, what invisible wealth am I overlooking right now? Maybe it is your health. Maybe it is a friend you can call. Maybe it is simply the quiet safety of this moment. Let yourself feel it. Not intellectually, emotionally. Let appreciation move through your body. You do not need to exaggerate. You do not need to convince yourself life is perfect. Simply widen your lens. Happiness grows when you recognize that your life is supported in ways you cannot fully see. And when you begin to count what was previously invisible, you discover something profound. You are far richer than you thought. Lesson 6. Make room for something new. When you focus on what you don't have, it often feels like there is a hole in your life, a gap, an absence. You look at that empty space and think, something is missing, and the mind quickly labels it as a problem. But what if it is not a hole? What if it is space? In Buddhist wisdom, emptiness is not a flaw, it is potential. An empty cup is not broken, it is useful precisely because it is empty. If your cup were already full, nothing new could enter. When you feel the ache of not having something, a relationship, a promotion, financial security, notice how quickly the mind interprets it as lack. It says, I am incomplete. It says, my life is behind. It says, I am missing out. But pause. What if this period of not having is preparing you? Space allows for movement. Space allows for change. Space allows for something unexpected to arrive. Imagine a room so crowded with old furniture that nothing else fits. To create space, something must be cleared. Sometimes what feels like absence is simply life making room. You may not yet have the partnership you desire, but perhaps you have space to understand yourself more deeply. You may not yet have the career you imagined, but perhaps you have space to explore new skills, new directions, new ideas. You may not yet have certainty, but perhaps you have space to grow resilient in uncertainty. The mind resists space because it cannot control what will fill it. It prefers guarantees. It prefers defined outcomes. But growth rarely happens in overcrowded comfort. Think back to times in your life when something ended. At first, it may have felt like loss, like emptiness, like something had been taken away. But later, did that space not allow something else to emerge? A new friendship, a new insight, a new strength within you. When you stop treating absence as failure, you begin to see it as openness. Openness is powerful. It means your story is not finished. It means possibility still exists. It means you are not confined to what has already happened. Instead of saying, "There is a hole in my life," try saying, "There is space here." Notice how different that feels. A hole suggests damage. Space suggests invitation. Space is where creativity lives. Space is where healing begins. Space is where new chapters form. Even on a practical level, when you constantly fill your schedule, your mind, your energy with noise and comparison, there is no room for reflection, no room for clarity. But when you allow moments of quiet, when you stop obsessing over what is missing, you create psychological space. And in that space, ideas arise, peace settles, gratitude grows. This does not mean pretending you do not want more. It means trusting that emptiness is not your enemy. You are not broken because you do not have everything. You are becoming. If today you feel like something is missing, sit with that feeling gently. Ask yourself, what could this space be preparing me for? What part of myself can grow here? Do not rush to fill the gap with distraction or comparison. Let it breathe. An empty field is not barren. It is ready for seeds. An open calendar is not failure. It is freedom. An unwritten future is not lack. It is possibility. When you see absence as space, gratitude becomes easier because you no longer feel like life is withholding from you. You begin to trust that life unfolds in timing you may not fully understand yet. And as you shift from "I don't have to," there is space, anxiety softens. You stop gripping, you stop forcing, you start allowing. Sometimes happiness does not come from gaining something new. Sometimes it comes from realizing that the room you thought was empty is quietly waiting for something beautiful. Focusing on what you have does not mean ignoring your dreams. It means standing on solid ground while you reach for them. When you stop postponing joy, stop shooting the second arrow, garden your gratitude, celebrate others, count your invisible wealth, and honor the space in your life, you begin to feel happy without waiting for perfect conditions. If this reflection brought you calm or clarity, consider subscribing to Mindfulness for more Buddhist wisdom, peaceful teachings, and practices to help you focus on what truly matters. May you see your life with softer eyes. May you feel the wealth you already carry, and may happiness grow gently right where you are.